It's always the ambulance. What's up, world? Ken and Corey here. And the first thing I want to say is shout out to all the women in this world that are really out here getting to the bag. You feel me? Like really getting to it. Right now, I'm in Washington, D.C., heading to get some coffee because I just felt like walking and talking to you guys. And there's a very disrespectful cold front trying to come through, but it's all good. It was expected. I'm here in D.C., you know, it gets cold. But I wanted to speak on this term, boss babes, because apparently there's been a lot of speculation about boss babes and, you know, how they aren't doing too well right now in this economy. You know, it doesn't really matter where you are. I'm in DC, but it seems like it doesn't really matter where you are. Boss babes are just going through it. So I decided to talk about it. Now, I have ran into my fair share of what some people would consider a boss babe, or what it seems like online has been considering a boss babe. I'm very well versed in their lifestyles. Man, this sun is sunning. The way this camera look in the sun, man. Okay, so before we get too deep off in this whole talk about boss babes, let me just kind of give you guys my definition of what I think a boss babe is, as far as what I've been learning from online. And that is pretty much just one of those women from a couple years ago when there was like a really strong feminist movement happening, where women were bragging about buying houses and basically being smarter with money and more well off. They were starting all these little businesses here and there. They were getting PPP loans. That was a big part of it. And what's happening is a lot of people back then tried to warn them that, like, hey, like, don't just start a business, you know, just to start a business, you know, unless you know what you're doing. You know, don't just do it just because it's a fad. Like, do it because it's something you really are going to stick to and you're going to put a lot of work into. A lot of these businesses were like funded by like men they were dating, men that were kind of like feeding into their ego financially, and pretty much like sugar daddy money. Ultimately, a lot of these women now in 2024 are starting to hit the wall and be in struggle because the men who were like financially keeping that stuff going, these fake businesses that they had going, aren't financially paying for it anymore. And so now they're hitting this moment where they're starting to realize that they really messed up. They can't pay for their mortgages and rents and stuff like that, and it's crazy. Yeah, so pretty much that's what a boss babe is, or that's what my definition is. Let me get some Starbucks real quick and then we can finish this conversation. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I thought I was gonna film more in there, but I didn't really, because I ended up walking inside of a hotel. I didn't realize I was inside of a hotel. But yeah, today, ironically, is also a women's march that's gonna be happening at like, I think like 2 o'clock. So I plan on going to the march to go check that out, because when it's all said and done, I still support my sisters out there. You know, I just be talking about hot topics, that's all. Where the heck am I at? Let's not be lost. Let's not get lost, Corey, because I definitely don't. Okay, that's 7th Street. Okay, sorry about that. Got lost for like 2 seconds. But yeah, I support the women out there who are still getting it, who are actual bosses. It's just the women out there who be acting like they got their stuff together. That's the stuff that be blowing me. Don't act like you got it together if you know you don't. And then you got people out here thinking that because people out here start believing the wrong thing and they put themselves in bad situations thinking that they should go start a business just because you started one, because it's just an easy thing to do, when y'all don't realize how hard it really is to have these businesses started and to start them up. Just because you have somebody paying for things for you and all that stuff doesn't mean that this is the ideal time to do that. If anything, I would say stack your money or educate yourself on how to run a better business. Like, go to school, take some classes, maybe even work with somebody else in their business and let them teach you some things before you branch off and do your own thing. But don't think just because you're young, attractive, and someone's paying for it, that it's gonna be like that forever, because it's not. Because attractiveness is only gonna last for so long. A simp is only gonna simp but for so long before they start to realize they're not getting anything out of it, and then they're gonna cut ties, because that's what people do. Everyone's selfish. Everyone's selfish, people. Speaking of this women's march that I mentioned earlier, I didn't do a lot of research, but I did see one article that said that it was started right after Donald Trump's inauguration happened or something like that, which leads me to believe that this is a pretty serious situation. And especially being here in Washington, D.C., I can see how they want to keep the tradition alive by meeting up every year. So I don't know, maybe I've already showed you guys some clips or not, who knows, but I do plan on going out there. I do need to make a quick stop at my job. Okay, also, I forgot to talk about this. There was someone who was making comments about, I guess, a young lady who made a video. I don't know if it was on TikTok or not, but I guess she was talking about how rent is really hard for her right now. She pays like $1,900 in rent. So I know that was a pretty like crazy topic as far as like someone just like outing her out like that. But I think rent, as far as like rent being too expensive, is really relevant. It's so many different things that come along with deciding if rent is expensive or not. I mean, your community in general, the place you live, the cost of living and all that stuff goes into play, because people could in general make more money on average where you are, so that drives up the rent. There could be less housing available. It just could be a lot of different things. A lot of demand will make prices go up as well, you know, supply and demand, that type of stuff. I would, however, like to say this though. It don't matter if you're a man or a woman in general. When it comes to owning a house, it's just not an easy task at all. A lot of maintenance goes into owning houses and stuff like that. And I think, you know, just by nature, men are a little bit more designed better to be outside in the elements when it comes to fixing things and, you know, like taking care of yard work and houses and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of like the part that a lot of these boss babes are kind of complaining about, is not realizing that. It's just having the realization that, you know, having a helpmate, someone who's more built for certain things, could make it easier. Not saying that they can't do it, but they just don't want to do it. It's just not in their nature to want to do it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with complaining about it. But for these people who keep like screenshotting videos and reacting to their displeasure, I mean, I think y'all need to start looking at your own lives a little bit to start trying to figure out what's making you want to do that. All right, so look, I'm gonna go as far as to even say this. I don't like emotions. I don't like doing anything that has to do with emotions. You know, i.e. dealing with certain types of problems that come from emotional situations. Not saying that I can't do it, but to have, if I had a woman around, you know, to help me navigate those different parts of my life, that would be cool. And I think it's the same energy, it's the same ideas that I'm thinking about whenever I see women complaining about things that they don't want to do that has to do with more physical things. Just in nature, you know, men, we're more adapt to handling certain things in life, just like they're more adept to handling certain things in life. So it's not that neither one of us can't do what the other one does. It's just easier for us to handle certain things. You get what I'm saying? I know it sounds like I'm talking in riddles, but I'm not really trying to talk in riddles. I'm just trying to simplify everything that I'm talking about. This is crazy, people. It's amazing though at the same time. I've been seeing some really interesting like posters. There was a guy that was saying he would hate to be the guy that pissed all these women off. And it's a lot of them. I don't blame them. It's really cool to see everybody come together for the same cause though.